Hey Aussie Gamers, Luke One here from Aussie Gamers Express, and today I'll be reviewing the Turtle Beach Elite 800 gaming headset. So first up, in reviewing the Turtle Beach Elite 800 gaming headset, I want to talk about what comes in the box. If you've seen my unboxing video, then you'll know exactly what comes in it, but I'll just do a quick recap. Firstly, the headset itself. These are it here. Now they're a pretty neat sort of design. They feel like a good quality headset. They feel well constructed. They've got adjustable sides for different sized heads, and just a nice feel. Even the Turtle Beach up here, it's the rubberized feel there with the logo on the top is quite a nice feel. And in transporting these from the base station to your head, you'll get a good feel and a good grip on it. There's no dramas with that. The ear cups, they're quite small, so I mean, if you've got massive ears, massive earlobes, you might find a little bit of issue, but I'll talk about that in a moment. Overall, they are pretty comfortable on the head. I'll put it around this way, pop them on. They feel quite comfortable, and with them on, I struggle to speak because I can't hear my own voice, which is quite good. One of the features of actually being able to hear your own voice when they're turned on. At the moment, they're not connected to anything, so nothing's running. So a good thing about that, though, when you are playing, you don't get interruptions from outside noises or anything like that. You'll just hear your game or your chat, your voice chat in the game. Now with the headsets themselves, they've got 8 buttons that I've managed to find in my playing with them. So you've got on this side here a whole bunch of controls. You've got your power, volume up and down, and the Bluetooth button. Now with these as well, at first I thought they were touch sensitive, but they're not. They do have a little click to them. When you press them, it's a very slight click and very easy to press, so you can find a little bit of issue with that when you're picking them up. But once you learn where the buttons are and what they do, you know how to avoid them. You can pick them up in different areas and not bump them. Carrying it like this is an easy way to avoid anything like that. And when you're putting them on, like I said, after a bit of use, when you get used to it, you're not going to bump any of these buttons. It's just at first when you're not really sure and you're unfamiliar. But it's very quick and easy to get used to. So I've been playing with these for about a week now, and I play in long stints in my gaming sessions. I play for up to around 3 to 5, even 6 hours sometimes, playing at a night. And one thing that I want to mention as well, not once through any gaming session have I ever found that I had to plug it in to charge it. It's got a good about 10-hour lifespan out of the battery before you need to either plug it in or put it back on the base station. But yeah, it's a quite a neat headset. Now look, what I want to talk about, in a good gaming session of around 4 or 5 hours, I found, and now look, this might be isolated to just me, my head, my ears or whatever, but for some reason the right ear cup, when it's on my head, I never have any problems with the left side, but in the right side here, after quite a few hours, it starts to feel like the headset's pinching my ear around the I don't know what you would call it, I'm no doctor, but the top part of the ear, the actual, this section here, feels like it's being squashed. So that was the one issue that I found in actually wearing them for quite a few hours on end. For a standard use of maybe an hour or so, I don't find any problems with them whatsoever. They are extremely comfortable. I don't have any issues with the top part hurting my head, which I have had with previous headsets that I've used. But it's overall, yeah, quite comfortable for the most time. It's just that slight issue there on the right side doesn't feel quite right. I feel like it probably could have been remedied if the ear cups were slightly larger, like other headsets that I've used, like the genuine Sony PlayStation headsets. Now this particular one is designed only for the PlayStation 4. There is a specific one, Elite 800, made for Xbox, which is slightly more expensive, and the only thing that I could think that makes it slightly more expensive is for the current Xbox controller, the Xbox One controller, you need to have that extra little plug device that goes into the bottom should you want to use it wired. So I think that comes with it, makes it a little bit more expensive, but I don't know, I haven't reviewed that one itself. I've only got the PlayStation version. And let me move on now to the next thing I want to talk about. Alright, so the next bit, now I'll just take these off for this next part. I want to talk about the actual setup and the parts that you will need to install them into your console if you're using it for a PlayStation. You've got this part here that's called the transmitter, or the base station, whatever you want to call it. Now this thing here is a really good design. It's got a good weight to it. It's quite heavy, so when it's sitting on your desk it's not going to be sliding around or anything like that. And setting it up is very easy. Essentially, for the basic setup, you're not going to need many things to plug in. It's just the two, and I'll show you the. Let me just get this to focus. Alright, now on here you've got going on screen from left to right, there's a program only USB, which I have not used. I assume from what I've read that section there, that plug there, is for plugging it into a computer to change your presets. And then you've got a digital out. That one will be, so once it is hooked up to your console, you can plug that in and send that either to your your home theater system or your TV, whatever you want. This one here is the power USB that will come from the USB on your PlayStation 4. That also sends through information to the headset. Now this one here is your digital in, sending an optical plug from the optical out on the PlayStation 4 into that one there, which will give you your surround sound, your 7.1 surround sound, and a pair button there as well, which I didn't need to use in the original setup, but surely that would come in handy if you were to some reason lose connection or replace the headset or have a second one, things like that. Now also, if you look at the top part of it here, you've got the little contacts on this side. Now they're for charging your headset. Now this base station is magnetized, which also makes it a little bit easier to put it on the put your headset on for charge, because on the actual headset there are magnets in the cups, and it's basically just there to make it easy to plug on. So you just sit it on the base station and she starts to charge. It's a really good design, and it's something that you probably only ever do at the end of a gaming session. Place it down on the base station, and it starts to charge, and it's ready to go for next time. Now, while I was playing video games for the first time, I booted up Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and started using this Elite 800. And the first thing I noticed is that the sound is amazing. The clarity of all of the ranges, the high ranges to the low ranges, was clearer than any headset that I've ever used before. It also brought to the surface a lot of video game sounds that I didn't even know were built into the games. I could hear a lot more footsteps, I could hear ambient sounds, winds, characters from further away. That's how it felt anyway. Sounds that are normally lost in the fact that, if you're using speakers or a headset that's not as good, they don't really come through. But the rumble of the bass was beautiful. Felt like a nice big subwoofer in your ears. I can't talk too much about the clarity of the sound. At first I was skeptical about the 400 plus price point of this headset, and I always thought to myself that I would never entertain a set of headphones that were such a price, because it's just sound. What more could you get from it? In using these now, it's starting to sway my decision, and I'm contemplating getting my own set of these things. But one of the main things as well that I was particularly impressed with is the Bluetooth integration into the headset as well, which means that you can attach, or connect I should say, via Bluetooth to a smartphone. I used an iPhone 5 via Bluetooth, and any incoming calls you can answer and also talk to the people while you're playing. You don't have to take your headset off. The headset will automatically dim down the sound, turn the volume down to the sound, and then you can have a chat to whoever is calling you. That way you don't miss your calls. You also get notifications through the headset as well, so if you get a text message or a notification from an app or anything like that, it will come through the headset if you've got it set up that way. And that was really handy. But alright, so now I'll move on to the next part that I want to talk about. Now the next thing I want to talk about with the Elite 800s is the hidden microphones. Now there's a few headsets on the market at the moment that have the boom mics that pop out in front of your face. They're probably usually the best quality you can get, but I find them intrusive. I don't like having them in front of my face, especially if I'm doing a long gaming session. I'm going to be drinking coffees and drinks and, you know, and feeding my face and all that sort of stuff. They're annoying in the way. And also, it can always be that thing, you know, how close should I have it to my mouth? You don't know, they're adjustable. This one doesn't have that. It just has, just hidden inside the headset somewhere is the noise cancelling microphone. Now, I like that feature, but it's probably the weakest feature of this headset because, I mean, look, I've not heard myself on the other end of these headsets, but I've asked my friends and my gaming buddies, how do I sound in compared to when I normally use my other headset? And they've told me I sound not as good. It's not as clear. It probably is comparable to maybe a mobile telephone style quality microphone. It's not the worst. It's still clear. They said that there's no dramas with hearing me fine. I've made phone calls using the Bluetooth to my wife, and she said that she wouldn't have known that I was using a headset. She thought I was just on the phone. So it does work fine, but it's probably not something you would use if you were doing a voiceover for some video capture or something like that. But as for game chat and things like that, apparently there's no issue. It's just not as good as some of the other ones that are on the market. But yeah, as I said, that's probably the weakest feature, but it's not a game breaker. Definitely not a deal breaker, I should say. It's just not the best that's on the market. You probably would expect it to be something up there with the best based on the price of this headset, but it does let it down a little bit. All right, I'll just move on to the next thing I want to talk about. Right, now the wireless integration. So it uses a wireless technology from the base station, the transmitter to the headphones, and it's crystal clear. I never had any interference whatsoever. It came through clear. When the game sound dropped down and it was silent, that's what I heard. Nothing. Silence. As I said before, when you have the cups over your ears, it does cut out a lot of the sound. The seal on your ears is fantastic. So much that even when my wife was talking to me, I struggled to hear what she was saying because it quietens it down. It's almost like an industrial earmuff for people on building sites where it's too noisy. It acts like that as well, so it cuts out a lot of exterior sound, which is good because then it really did cut out about 99% of my wife's nagging. It was great. So it's almost worth the $400 just for that feature alone. Alright, now I'll move on to the next thing I want to talk about. Alright, now in the design of these headsets, on the actual buttons, these plates here are removable and replaceable. You can get customization plates from turtlebeach.com. Now it's just plastic, that's all it is. The buttons are built into the actual headset here, but these things you can get different ones from Turtle Beach for whatever purpose or design that you desire, and they just snap on. That's it. On like that. It's quite easy. Both sides do the exact same thing, and it's easy to do. Just fingernail under the bottom there and lift. That comes off and back on. Me personally, I don't feel like I need to do that. It's just I guess a personal thing. Maybe if you're a pro gamer and want to have a bit of a statement at a competition using these or something, I don't know, but it's just another added expense. Alright, for the next section that I want to talk about is a couple of the settings. Now there's quite a few settings. It's very, very feature rich, these headphones. First of all, it does have I guess this is a staple for headsets these days, is the pass-through for your voice. So when you're talking, when the headset's on and you're talking through, it'll feed your own voice slightly through your headset. So you're not shouting through the headset because you can't hear your own voice. So that's in there, and you can adjust that sound to make it louder or turn it off altogether if you wish. Also, there's a dynamic chat boost, which is really good, because if you're playing a game and the game action ramps up and it gets loud, it'll automatically adjust the volume of the chat party. If you're in a chat with all your friends, it'll lift their volume as well, so you can still hear what's going on. It doesn't muffle out what they're saying because there's a big explosion or something like that, which is really handy. Now there are things like, let me just have, I've got a list in front of me so I don't forget them, but there's different game modes that you can select through by pressing the buttons on the headset. There's things like signature sound, specified for shooters, racing, sports, or superhuman hearing, and there's also footstep focus. Now superhuman hearing is a big feature with the Turtle Beach Elite series. It's something that you don't get with any other headset. So what it does is it'll basically bring forth all those quieter sounds and make them a bit more audible. So you can have the edge on other gamers, I guess, by hearing those sounds, hearing an enemy from further away if you're playing a competitive game of Call of Duty or something like that. Also, footstep focus as well is a good for a first-person shooter. You'll be able to, it'll pick up those sounds that are generally made by footsteps in video games, and it'll boost those sounds specifically, so you'll hear your enemy from further away. It's actually very handy. It's also useful for movies. You've got movie settings. Once again, there's the signature sound, which is just a general setting to get the best quality you can. There's also settings for action movies, horror movies, and dramas. So along with that, also there is also the same settings as well for music. There's a music mode for stadium sound, acoustic, and dance music. So it's good for all types there, but overall it's actually a really good headset. I mean, it's hard to try and tell somebody, especially like myself, before using them, that $400 or $420 is a reasonable price for a headset. But for gamers that are passionate about their games like I am, I'm starting to think that it probably is worth the investment, because what you get from this headset is above and beyond your $100, $200 headsets. It's actually really good. The biggest thing that I really appreciate from a headset from Turtle Beach, and a lot of their headsets do this, not just the 800, but if you're a gamer that likes to create video game tutorials or gameplays or let's play videos for YouTube, this is the type of headset that you need, because what it does is it takes the audio from that audio out using that digital optical cable, so that way when you turn these headphones on, the audio will still pass through HDMI at the same time. So if you've got this, got your console set up to something like an Elgato or some sort of video game capture card, you can still use your headphones as well as the console giving sound to your recording device. So if you use like the PlayStation 4 headset, as soon as you turn that on, that cuts the sound out from the HDMI, and your capture card no longer gets any video game sound. So all of the sound is coming through the headphones. And if you turn off the sound from the headphones, then you get no sound in the headphones, and it all comes out of the HDMI, which may then give you feedback through your microphone and give you like an echo. So this is a very handy feature that I guess it's not a feature built into it, it's just something that comes out of a side effect of the way that these headsets are set up and plugged into your console, which is very handy. So look, I guess that's the main thing that main things are covered there, and what I wanted to talk about with this headset. They're comfortable to a degree depending on your head and your ears. It can get uncomfortable also depending on how long you use them for. The charging, it is a base station setup, but you can plug in a charger while you're using them. That's an important thing too. So once they go flat, you don't have to take them off and place them onto the base station. You can continue to use them by plugging them in. Also, they've used the design that the PlayStation 4 uses, so it's the exact same plug that you probably use to charge your controllers. So it is quite a neat package. So what I also want to finish on saying is that this particular headset, I did mention that I wanted to buy one for myself, and you might think, well, you've got a set. This set here I am actually going to be giving it away to one of you guys. So until the end of August, so the 31st of August 2015, you will have the chance to enter into a competition to win this exact one here. Now I promise I will package it and put it all back together perfectly for you. It'll be nice and clean in the box and ready to go for one of you guys. So what you need to do, how do you enter, how do you win this beautiful headset? What you need to do is simply head across to our Facebook page. That's the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page. Either search for us in the search bar, or you can type in www.facebook.com/AussieGamers2012 and you go across there. There will be a post on there with this review and the headset on there. All you need to do is follow the instructions that are on that post, like and share, and you're going to be away into the competition, and the lucky winner will receive these once the competition finishes. So with that all saying, I've been Luke One for Aussie Gamers Express. Thank you very much for checking out my review and unboxing videos of the Turtle Beach Elite 800 gaming headset. Cheers.